Hello, Sagittarius. Welcome to your December reading. I wanted to just skip ahead to you because, firstly, the sun is still in your sign, for like the next 2 weeks or so, and also I want to see how the eclipse affected you in Gemini. So I'm gonna do you tonight, and then immediately after, I'm gonna look at Gemini, and I just want to see how that eclipse is going to affect your month ahead because I feel like it was you two that really felt the aftermath of it in a way that maybe other signs didn't. To be honest, all of us are gonna feel that eclipse. We're all gonna feel the one at the end of the month. But you have a lot of transits coming into 2021 as well. So you and Aquarius, I'm gonna keep an eye on, and Gemini in regards to just the rest of the month too. While I was doing your reading, at least like the initial spread that I pulled when I was typing it up, I kept hearing a work in progress. So I feel like you have an actual task that is a work in progress, but I also feel your spirituality, your confidence, and your ego. You have a really big month coming up for your ego and your will. That's all a work in progress. Where you are now is going to be miles behind where you will be at the end of the month. You have the Tower card, you have the Judgment, Ace of Swords. Your life is going to look very, very different within, I would say, from now until 2021, probably midway into 2021. You just have a lot of changes. It's like a ball that's rolling. With the Tower card, it's not going to feel great, but the aftermath is going to look really good for you. Because right next to the Tower, you also have the World too. So it may feel like contradictions, it may feel like mixed messages, but once you start opening your eyes, that's the theme basically for you, is opening your eyes and perspective. I do feel like there are several relationships that need to be cut off, and you're trying to put everything into keeping them alive. And Spirit is just making them hard for you for a reason, because it's time to just let them go. And you just are holding on to it because in your head they're not working because of you, because you're not doing enough, because you're not giving enough. When in reality, you've given all you can. And it's really time to stop giving. And I feel like that the beginning of that is going to be shown to you this month. I do want to say, watch your front, watch your back, watch your sides. Not because you have anything super scary coming to you, not because you have anything sinister, etc. It's just you have people in your life that have gotten so comfortable and they never had good intentions. I hate to be the one to say it. And it's not even that you just are oblivious, or you're weak, or you just are incognizant. It's just they're really good at what they do. And they've been in your life for so long that their value to you, or you've overestimated their value. I'll leave it at that. Like, you feel like they bring things to your life that they never did, and it was all you. So I just want you to really get into your ego this month, because egos aren't necessarily a bad thing. It's just the way that you use them and how they impact your decision making. I feel like you haven't had enough ego in your decision making. You're not someone completely selfless to the point of self-destructiveness, but you're selfless to the point where you're thinking about the good of your social circle, or the good for your family, the good for your relationships, and in order to keep that positivity, you're almost willing to do whatever, because you feel like you're going to get some of that back too, and in reality you're really not. So let's go down to the cards. So like I said, you definitely have this kind of work in progress energy to you this month, and that really kind of shown with this King of Pentacles. You also have the Eight of Pentacles underneath one of my decks too. So money is going to be great for you. You didn't get like an Ace of Pentacles, or any type of what I call windfall cards, but you have inspiration cards, you have potential cards. So your money potential is really great this month, I should say that. I feel like the energy you've been putting into trying to make these false relationships work, at some point you're going to put that into your career as well, and then that's where you're actually going to get something back. To be honest, you're really not getting anything back from the certain people that are in your life right now. You still have a lot of success, you still have a lot of progress, but it's not necessarily a complete victory, because you still have stragglers in your energy. You still have leeches around you. So what could have been just complete success is kind of it's kind of cut in half, because you still have people taking from rewards that you've earned. I do see someone that initially came across as being really honest, really invested, but they all get exposed, and in doses. So you've gotten some people that made their intentions pretty clear, that aren't as smart as they think they are. They get exposed right away, but then later on, you still realize that there were a lot more people in your life that you probably should have gotten rid of too. And I want to say too, this energy this month feels like you're walking into a trap, because we do have the Seven of Swords here. We had this Moon card here. The Moon card, I will say, is the pretty heavy energy. Like, this kind of took over the spread, even though it was the last card out. So let's just get started. Basically, this is someone you've been putting your faith in. They may have helped you grow in some way, but there's a lot of energy here of support, because this is the reliable king. This is someone that can provide you a lot of security, a lot of comfort. But I do feel like the problem is with this is you may not realize that they've also become a bit of a crutch. And this is one of the main people that kind of have over exemplified their value to you. Because you're more of a team than one person being dependent on the other. And this person doesn't want you to see that, or they didn't want you to see that for some reason. It's a lot of, not necessarily you're nothing without me, but it's just they have you feeling like you won't be as well off or as good without them, basically. And it's something that is kind of holding you back, and it's definitely intentional. So with money here, yeah, this person is making you comfortable, but they're kind of dulling your senses to a bit where you're really not feeling as inspired, if that makes sense. This could be someone that you looked up to. They could be in a career field that you've always wanted to be in, and you kind of are placing your goals on how far they've gone, when in reality you have the potential to go so much further. It's almost like you're giving them credit for all the great things you've accomplished. And I might have mentioned, I'm wondering if this person has led you to believe that intentionally. Granted, this is someone, like I said, they're successful in their own right, but they're coming across as a bit demanding, they're a bit stubborn, they're very by the book. So if this is someone that influenced you, you may have suddenly realized that you just don't want to do things the way that they've done things, that you're capable of really reaching further. And if you're someone that has also been used to taking the back seat with them and dismissing like little disappointments or dismissing little condescending behaviors, because him and the King of Swords have the tendency to be slightly condescending, you're kind of realizing that you don't want to live day to day doing that anymore. Either way, a lot of your spread denotes that together you two really don't need to worry about money, but also the future is kind of a win-win for you, because this World card, that's the literal definition for me with this card. It's always going to be a win-win scenario for you. There's a saying that the future is for those who can afford to wait, and that's what these two cards are for me. Because this Two of Wands is one of the big picture cards. It's about, I've done this, I've gotten this far, but I can go further. In traditional Rider Waite, he has the world in his hands, and he's looking toward the horizon. So I do feel like at a certain point, there might be a delay, there might be a setback, that you realize, wait, this didn't need to happen had I just focused on a much larger picture instead of being so narrow. And then in turn, you're going to realize that narrowness is coming from this person. Regardless, you just don't want to be too comfortable. Just because, you have everything you need, it doesn't mean that that's all you should settle for. I also want to say that the Two of Wands is a lot... this person is very flexible. Twos, of course, can signal a choice, duality. I do feel like you are coming on to a really impactful period in your life where you're going to have to decide about who you want around you and the influences that you want around you. I don't feel like your person is someone that can adjust as easily as you can. Like I said, they're very narrow. So if you're someone that's a lot more fluid, this could be a big reason why together you've accomplished so much. And it's also the main reason why you you've been made to feel like you're the one that should always compromise because you're just better at it, because you're just more open-minded. So I do want you to be careful and kind of, even if you're single and you don't have, you're not in a long-term relationship or any kind of relationship, just look at the ways you've compromised so much, because this is about not necessarily authority, but it's just about structure and someone that can almost be a father figure without actually being your father. So just look who has power over you and who are you always forgiving for things that, you need to kind of nip in the bud. I will say, I usually like to do this at the beginning of my video, but I did feel third party. I did feel infidelity. Not necessarily even third party, because third party, when I say that, it's someone that has been in the picture for a while. It's someone that will be in the picture for a while. I feel like infidelity is more not necessarily short term, but it's more sporadic. So it wasn't a whole relationship or a whole side relationship, but I do feel like there was some form of betrayal for a select few in relationships, if you resonate with that. I probably didn't mention it because it really didn't take over the spread. It probably was something that you're either aware of, gotten past, or felt like you got past, but it is coming up. I do see that despite that, though, you're still setting out on your own path with the Six of Wands here. The Six of Wands is a great card. The only downside with it is it can also signify drama. I don't know why I just stuttered over that, but whatever drama comes from this card, it's drama that's out of your control. Normally this is like a theater card to me, like you're center stage, so the drama that's going on around you, it is affecting you, but there's really nothing you can do about it because it's out of your control. It's not anything you created, it's just been brought to your doorstep. This is also Jupiter and Leo energy, so this is using your ego, it's using your identity, but using it to your advantage. It's also your social life blending with your work life, but in a positive way. So just be wary that whatever drama that's on the outskirts of your identity is not being brought to your work, to your career, to your art, to your relationships. Because you have the potential here. Jupiter is about expansion, and then also starting off the spread with the Two of Wands, you have a lot of potential to reach a lot of people, to really go further than anyone feels you, or to go further than a lot of people around you thought you could. So just make sure that when the drama does happen, that you don't let that affect your reach, because also the World card is about, mass appeal. I do want to say with these two cards, because this is the theater, this is acting, this is like, it's attention. It's not just success, it's not just victory, it's something that everyone gets to see, and it's something that everyone applauds you for. This card is basically applause. So that with the World card, I do feel like some of you randomly enough might have a celeb encounter. You might have some random experience involving someone famous with these two cards here, because this is very much a Hollywood type of energy here. And I don't want to go crazy and say that you might become famous, because I really didn't get that. I just feel like you might encounter someone famous. You may be involved or work with someone famous in some capacity. You might be introduced to someone famous. And of course, everyone's ideas of fame is different, so take that as it may when I say something like this. You could meet an Instagram influencer, a model, a TV actor, a reality TV star. Fame is fame. If you know this person's name, regardless of what you feel about why they're famous, they're still famous. So take that in mind when you meet them. Either way, it's not going to be as a fan, it's going to be not even necessarily on an even setting. It's going to be some kind of acknowledgement where if you're a hairstylist, this person is going to be interested in your work. They might not hire you, but they'll show you in some way that they respect what you're about, and there's a door that might be open there, basically. And of course, just take that if it resonates, but it was too random for me not to say it. because this Jupiter and Leo energy, that is star power for sure. So someone let me know if this ends up happening, because whenever something really random comes to me like that in a reading, I usually get this at some point I get a crazy DM or a crazy message that kind of confirms it. So that would be fun if that does happen for some of you Sagittariuses. Either way, that aside, I do feel like some of you may be traveling with this world card. I want to say you all got so many travel cards. You got the Sun, you got the World, you got the Chariot, you got the Seven of Swords, which funny enough, it can denote travel. Two of Wands can also denote at least overreaching or being in contact with people from faraway places. So a lot of you are just going to either be physically going somewhere or having business dealings or communications or some kind of interactions with people that are far from you. And they all are coming across as really positive, but I'll get more in touch with that later. I do also want to say some of you may be getting offered a trip, because Jupiter is gifts. It's something that's gifted to you. The world is a gift, a divine gift. So it's not something that you're going to have to completely foot the bill for. I'll just leave it at that. I think the majority with these two cards are just basically going to be having a success that takes you to new heights. That's on a regular scale, but I think a select few of you will be able to relate to the celebrity encounters and getting flown out for trips. If any of you are like Instagram influencers yourself, you might have a brand deal. You might have some kind of opportunity to really be publicly applauded for something. It's really good energy here, and it's not something that's super life-changing, but once you hit that milestone, you realize that there's so much more out there for you. So it's really about optimism, and that also is what Jupiter is about too, and that's your ruling planet. So this month I feel like Jupiter energy is going to be on you pretty well. With the big conjunction happening on the 21st, Jupiter conjuncting with Saturn, I feel like it's all going to hit us differently. So you may be one of the few lucky signs that you get expanded by it in your career and in your relationships. And I guess that's fair, since again you are ruled by Jupiter. So basically this is just you releasing yourself. It's you unbinding yourself from people that might place restraints on you, because not everyone can see the magnitude or not everyone can see the potential and the magnitude that you can see potential. So your job is to not be influenced by these people, to not internalize their own limitations. It's just to break free of that, and that is really what the World card is. So the next two cards were the Six of Cups and the Tower. So this is it's interesting. This is where I feel like some kind of domino effect comes from you releasing yourself from certain people and certain energies. This particular card is interesting because if you see that light beaming, that's a light that's destruction. That's the cause for the destruction of the Tower. So light is something that exposes what's in the dark. Light is something that magnifies, and I feel like it's really ironic that in this card, this is what makes the Tower crumble. And that's also why I kind of heard domino effect when I saw this card. So this coming after the World and the Six of Wands, you have some great positive, really public attention coming to you, but you being in that light is also going to expose the weak parts of your foundation. And this could be your job foundation, your relationship foundation, your friendship, the foundation's there. I really didn't get any family in your spread, and usually family is a lot more clear to me than friends and lovers. So I feel like your family life is really good right now. Normally I will say your family life, normally I would see, especially when I see a lot of chaos for certain signs, family being some kind of support system. The only thing I will say is I really don't see that for you here. I see that you have to be on your own a lot this month. That's not to say your family won't help you. I'm just saying that the work that you need to do to get out of this Tower moment is going to be something that only you can really do. But that's being said, it's something, this Tower moment, it's really going to be something completely random. It's going to be unavoidable. especially next to this World card. That's the only reason why I felt like it is just going to be inevitable. In relationships, I do see the meaning here of conflict and something that needs to be overcome. But the thing about the Tower is, it can be rebuilt, but it has to be rebuilt on something a lot more solid this time around. The Six of Cups is rose-colored glasses. It's fake positivity. It's false positivity. It's things not being what they seem. So I want you to make sure that when you do rebuild this tower, that you're not rebuilding it with rose-colored glasses on, that you're not rebuilding the same exact tower on the same exact shaky foundation that it was on before. I kind of feel like you're going to have a choice to either fix things with this person on this King of Pentacles. You're going to have a choice to fix things with these false friends. These, if again, with the job scenario, if you are in the midst of a crossroads about where you want to work and who you want to work for, don't accept the job if the terms are still the same, if you're still getting paid the same, if you're still being overworked, if the coworkers are still toxic. Don't accept it. If anything that you have to talk yourself into, anything that you have to excuse, oh, my friend didn't mean this, that wasn't a job, that wasn't a subliminal. If you find yourself having to say something like that in order to keep a friendship going, that means it's time to let it go. If you're seeing your lover's phone go off at 3 a.m. or something's just not quite feeling right, and you feel yourself having to talk yourself into not paying attention to it, and that means you're building a new start on something that's still very rocky. We very rarely ever get complete new beginnings with the same people. So that's what these two cards mean to me. And it's really telling me that you just need a whole new location. This is done. This has been smothered to the ground. The foundation is just never going to be the same. So personally, I'm seeing this as a need for a whole new identity, a need for a whole new social group, a whole new job if you're questioning whether you should stay, because I did get a lot of job energy here for you. Once something is broken, it can't ever be as solid as it was. I think it's just time to go a completely different route. So I do feel like you're going to have a choice to either fix things with this person or these people or this job, but it's going to mean shrinking yourself. It's going to mean forgiving things that you genuinely don't want to forgive, but per usual, you want to make things right. You want to be the one to compromise just because you know that you can. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. So you're not even someone, to be honest, that's afraid of being alone, because I don't get that here at all. I just feel like you're someone that has formed deep and emotional attachments to people, and it's going to take you a while to realize that these attachments aren't real, that it was one-sided, or just not at the level that you thought they were. And I think once that is made clear to you, because I do see that it will be made clear to you at some point, more on that later, I think it'll be a lot easier for you. I will also say that this Six of Cups can mean a new affair or new marriage. And along with this King, who is known the most for being a husband, I do see that this past person will potentially offer you a serious commitment after this Tower moment. So again, it's really up to you, because you're going to have to overlook a lot if you accept it. You're going to be living a life on their terms. This could be anything from a marriage proposal or just a proposal to be a lot more serious. You have a lot of relocating cards, so you might even be offered the chance to move in with this person, or to go half on a house, or just move into a new house with them. So you really want to think about it a lot before you agree. For those who are single, again, with this boss, and because this King of Pentacles could be a manager, it could be a boss, it could be a CEO. It's someone that's in charge in your workplace in particular. So this Tower scenario could revolve you and you deciding whether or not you're able to work with someone that you really don't respect, or who really is not showing you the respect that you deserve. Either way, you're going to be valued, you're going to be respected, you're going to be admired, basically, because you almost have this star appeal, really. And it could be on any scale. It could be a star-like appeal in your social setting, it could be a star-like appeal in your job, I think once you see that and you start getting it from strangers, you're going to look at the people that are supposed to be your so-called friends and lovers and bosses and realize, well, if I'm getting this from outside sources, why do I need you? Especially if I'm doing so much for you, I'm getting absolutely nothing back. So that being said, we have the Five of Swords, and then we had the Ace of Swords to come out with it. So I do see some kind of loss. I do see some kind of separation. This ace is not great. And it's not great, especially in comparison to the other aces, but it's the hard one. It's the tough love one. It's the one that is necessary for your growth. The Ace of Wands, the Ace of Pentacles, it's almost instant abundance. It's almost instant love with the Ace of Cups. This one is just, it's almost preparation for that. It's a calm before the storm. It's the battle that you have to fight to win the war. So you initiate the separation, and I think it's due to you viewing things a lot more clearly. I will say with this ace, watch your health toward the end of this month, both mental and physical, because one can impact the other. Normally this ace and this Five of Swords too, it's mental health. It's battling your battling your baser instincts. Not necessarily like the Devil card, but the need to be petty really with this card. And you also want to make sure you don't bottle a lot in, because I did see that tendency for you, because bottling things in and internalizing things can manifest itself physically. It can cause depression. It can cause anxiety. I got a lot of anxious energy from you too toward the end of the month. But basically, just whatever you need to do to keep yourself healthy and safe, that's what you need to do. You really need to have people around you that are on the same page as you are, because you can end up dealing with the same consequences that they are. I'm sorry, like I said, this is a very positive card, but it's a karmic one too. So you really want to make sure that you keep your side of the fence clean. For example, if you are friends with people that are just not taking this virus seriously, you don't want to socialize with them, even if you yourself are taking the virus seriously, because their consequences can end up being yours as well. That kind of came to me too, because Ace of Swords can mean sickness. So I really don't want to like fearmonger or anything like that or be political, but it is worth saying to the people that resonate with it, especially since this Five of Swords, one of the meanings is thwarting danger at the very last second. It's like something coming in to save you at the 11th hour, basically. So that thing that saves you is your intuition. That thing that saves you is your own inner wisdom. And that with this ace and the moon later in the spread, I feel like something is definitely, there's something under the surface for sure. I do want to say that it will come to light at the last minute, but who wants to really wait until the last minute to keep themselves safe? Because there's so much that can happen before that. So just really take heed of that. If any of you are going through a legal battle, don't let your mind stray too far into the negative, because whoever it is that's against you, legally, emotionally, friendship-wise, they're kind of counting on you to kind of overwork yourself. They're counting on you to pull yourself into some kind of hole. I felt it, like I said earlier in the video, it's almost like a trap has been laid out for you. So you really don't need any unneeded stress, if that makes sense. I mean, there is no stress that you need. So just look at who's stressing you out. Look at what's stressing you out. You're going to lose people in your circle the closer it gets to January. That's going to be inevitable with this Tower and the Six of Cups. But it's only after you realize that it's not a loss and that they didn't have great intentions that you can kind of rebuild and prepare for whatever it is you need to be prepared for. I will say that slander and gossip is a huge possibility with this Five of Swords. This card also means infamy. So this is, and especially with the World and the Six of Wands, you've got eyes on you, like I like to say, and people, if they can't get some of that attention, I feel like the next best thing for them is to either take your attention or to throw dirt on your name and to just turn your positive attention into a negative. So just really, really be on guard for that. I'm not saying that there's anything you can do to combat it, but I do see that you can prep yourself and not let it stress you out or not let it hurt you at the level that it could possibly hurt you, because at the end of the day, it's coming from insecurity, it's coming from envy, it's coming from just them not being capable of being able to do what you've done. You're, again, Sagittarius, you're ruled by Jupiter. You see things in a way that a lot of other people can't see them. And that's not to talk down on other signs or anyone else, because Jupiter influences everyone in a different way. But you're someone that really is coming across as influenced by Jupiter. Yeah, I don't know what deacons are watching this. I have to look and see which deacon is more influenced by Jupiter than the others. But that's going to bring people that are small-minded to you. That's going to bring people that just don't like seeing you at the top. I really don't like automatically assuming that everyone is a hater or envious, but that is something you do need to watch out for when it's just right in your face. So that is, yeah, the Five of Swords is just never a great card for friendships. It's never a great card for your social circle, because it means that someone around you is not being completely nice. I mean, that's really simplified, but it is what it is. There are people around you that are not being that nice or have intentions to get a lot meaner. That being said, whatever anxiety, whatever health issues you have, expect almost an immediate reversal, especially with this Judgment card. And I'm saying more so for that mental stress, especially if it's like some kind of depressing mindset. And I do want to be clear when I say a depressive state rather than the actual disease of depression, because I'm speaking as someone that deals with it. So I know there is no overnight cure, and I would never want someone to pressure themselves into like curing something like that overnight. But if you're going through some kind of funk, expect that to really be a lot quicker than you felt it would be. I want to say that you're going to be able to look at the positive side of things, but I want to say that you've done it so far in your life in a way that you just forgive easily. So you look at the positive in people that really don't deserve it. So now I see that you're taking that same energy and applying it to your life. And you're going to have to do it because, like I said, you have betrayals coming at you left and right. So instead of internalizing the betrayals and forcing yourself to look at the positive in these people that are really negative, you're just looking at the positive in the situation. So you're still going to be strong enough to cut these people off with this Ace of Swords here too. I want to say that you get some kind of news that gets rid of that dark cloud, because the Judgment can be good news. And it could be just something that completely changes your point of view. So I want to say that it's a change of scenery, it's a job change, or whether it's just a new position at your current job. But I see you gaining, and I see you realizing that you have a lot more control than you were led to believe. For some reason, I also feel like there are a few of you who are living a very fast-paced city life, and that's going to be switched up to a more rural and calm life. I'm in New York, and a lot of people are fleeing the city right now. I'm not one of them. I probably won't be one of them, but I almost feel like I'm talking to someone like that if you're in a big city, it's just not who you are. You just are not at peace. You're not at rest, and it's affecting your mind state. And I do feel like at some point this month going into next, you're going to make that change, because I see a lot of new identity here. I see a lot of reevaluating what kind of energy you want around you. I will say though that if you're traveling, regardless of a move or just for vacation, do watch your back, like I said, and stay safe, because I really don't like this Seven of Swords with the Five of Swords so close to each other. And again, it's not fear mongering, it's not like being overly dramatic, it's just when I see that, it's something that bears saying. So really watch your surroundings. That's your key. I want to say that's the theme of your whole reading, is just watch who you have around you. But I don't want to oversimplify it, and I don't want to make that the focal point, because you have a lot of positive things coming to you as well. You have the Sun right next to that. So I want to say that's the second pure happiness card, because you do have the World, you do have the Six of Wands, Yeah, you have a lot of joy coming to you this month, despite the Tower and the Seven of Swords, the Five of Swords, the Moon. You I do want to say that once you remove yourself or remove people from around you, that has a big influence on your state of mind. So I'm really not saying that you're a follower or anything like that, but you might be more of an empath than you're aware of. I secretly believe that everyone is an empath. Some people choose not to be in that energy, and some people aren't aware of how much they're in that energy. And you're probably one of those people who just aren't aware of how much being an empath affects your day to day. So other people, their energy, their mindsets, their choices, it may manifest itself physically in your life if you get too close to them, because the sun touches anything. The sun burns anything it touches if you get too close to it. So I feel like you're someone that can get burned if you stay too close to people that just are not on the right path, or at least they're not on the same path as you are. I also believe that people get physical warnings, they get spiritual warnings, especially when they need to protect themselves from someone, or when they're about to enter a very dangerous situation. I believe that the warnings are very stark, and the closer you are to being in that situation, or the closer you get to people that aren't good for you, the more intense the warnings are. But you may just not even associate the two together because you're so in touch with everything. You're someone that sees the big picture, that it's just you can't see the forest for the trees, so if that's the right phrasing for that. I do want to say that you do have a lot of psychic cards. Sagittarius is one of the psychic signs as well. The Moon card, again, whenever that comes up, there's a almost a psychic foresight when this card comes up. So there's a lot that's being hidden, and there's a potential for psychic intervention, rather. So I will say that these two cards are really telling me that whatever is in the dark will come to light, because this Four of Cups is about not manifesting, meditating, and really reevaluating, and that'll be a big thing for you this month. Literally with the Sun card here, though, and like I said, I saw, and this was actually the first time I ever noticed it, and I use this deck quite often. You see that laser coming from the sky, and that is what is crumbling this tower. So I feel like at some point you're going to get some kind of divine truth, and it's going to come from within. So if this clarity comes from you leaving a bad relationship, if it comes from you cutting off friends, you have the time to see things now that you weren't being able to see before, because you may have been influenced, you may have been so busy trying to keep things happy, keep things peaceful, that you didn't have time to look beyond the necessary. And that was intentional. I feel like a lot of people intentionally blinded you or distracted you so that you can't see them for what they were. Whatever apologies or new beginnings, and I say that in quotation, that are being offered, you really should only consider them if you have all the facts, basically, and if your gut feels good about it. I feel like I've already went on my spiel about so-called new beginnings with old people and faulty towers, but at the end of the day, it's up to you. No tarot, no reader, no one can really influence your judgment or can really help you make the best choice except your own higher self. So that's what that Four of Cups is to me too, at least in your spread. And also, to be honest with this Four of Cups, I almost want to say that you might be disgusted or turned off when certain people make their inevitable return to you. And now also keep in mind I said inevitable because I'm a strict, very firm believer that they always come back. So that they can be past lovers, past friends. If you quit a job and you were an asset, trust me, you'll hear from them at some point. That's happened to me a few times. So I think when that happens and someone circles their way back to you, you may not even want to even entertain the thought of it. So just make sure old habits, make sure old connections don't hold you back from new love. Because you did have the Six of Cups here, you did have this World, the Six of Wands. That's all potential there for new love, or just a real fresh start with new people. So analyze your past, but then make sure to leave it behind. So move forward from it. I'm always of the mind that you can't ever completely get rid of your past. We're never fully healed from the things that hurt us, but it has its place and you have to put it in its place. And the only way you can really move forward and know what the future is if you make certain things your past, if that makes sense. That being said, I don't see your past letting you go, but it's really nothing to be scared about. This Emperor here is someone with control issues. This isn't necessarily a person, even though I do feel like it could be a past lover. The friends, I feel like more so when these so-called false friends or so-called friends realize they don't have access to you anymore, when they don't have access to your success, when they realize they've been fully cut off, I feel like that it's going to begin and end at gossip and slander. I don't see anything. They may try to weasel their way back in at some point, and you're going to see right through it, and that's going to be more with the friends. With the love, though, it's going to be a bit harder for you. So that I would just keep an eye on, because lovers have more available in their arsenal than a friend would. There's only so much a friend can do to try to seduce you into coming back, which is not to say one relationship is more meaningful than the other. It's just there's more potential for a soul tie with a lover than there is a friendship, and I'll definitely try to get into that. But you're being asked to be on guard, because you do have the Seven of Wands here. You're being asked to just not get too comfortable. Just because you've let someone go doesn't mean that they don't plan on trying to weasel their way back in as well. You're of value. We all are, of course, but you're someone that gives a lot, like I've said. I've talked a bit about how I view soul ties and people that seek out abundance in other people. They're known as energy vampires. More traditionally, we call them narcissists. But it's someone who intends on giving absolutely nothing, but they're going to fake bond with someone who is willing to give everything. So they're going to establish what you think is a bond, but in reality it's dominance. And that is also what this Two of Wands could be. It's having dominion over something or someone. So I do feel like that could have been something that some of you were in, but the vampire ends up being fed. And when you're getting that kind of energy from someone, your whole life changes for the better, and it's almost immediate. So, and again, you're ruled by Jupiter. You're literally ruled by the planet of abundance. So when people are feeding from you, they're getting a lot, and they're getting it in insane ways. So once you take those resources back, once you walk away, they feel that loss. They may not be aware that it's coming from you leaving at first, but it's inevitable for them to not make that connection. And that's really what I see here. They were going to offer you this bare minimum with the Six of Pentacles, because you see all this that he has behind his back, but he's giving one pentacle to someone in need. This could have been some of y'all's relationship. This also could be how this person plans on returning, where they have a lot more than you think. They have a lot more in them to give than you think, but they're only willing to give you so much because they want it all for themselves. So, this is someone, narcissists think that they deserve the world. They think they deserve all the applause, all the attention. And when they see you getting it, they kind of want some of that. They kind of want what you have by association. So you're going to have to be on guard. You're going to have to guard your successes, your abundance, your dreams, your goals, and overall your whole energy you need to guard from this person. It could apply to friends, it could apply to family, but like I said, I really didn't see family in this as a negative for you. If anything, family's going to be pretty stable this month because they didn't really show up at all. Friends, I feel like their reach is only going to go so far. I really feel like this is more about love. So towards the end of this month, regardless of the state of your relationship with certain people, your value and the way you're so giving, it'll be very apparent. And this is just going to cause the leeches to try to cling to you. And it's also going to cause people to try to assert their authority over you and control the way you view yourself, because by keeping you in a certain mindset, you really aren't thinking of cutting ties. And it really smacks to what I saw in the beginning of the spread, where someone is over... They're exaggerating their value. They're exaggerating what they bring to your life, because in reality, they're giving you this one pentacle when they have 5 other or when they have times 5, you're looking at all this as what you're getting, when in reality you're only getting this. And that's the mark of someone with control issues that has dominion over you. So just really be careful of that. That kind of also touches on the 6 of Cups and this Ace of Swords, where you really have to be ruthless with cutting people off and not being in this naive, innocent energy. And innocent people are pretty much targets as well for that kind of thing. So you have a lot of trash that will need to be disposed of. I've seen it in almost all my readings that I film here, where someone believes that they've made a full sweep of leeches, where they've gotten rid of all the trash, but they always miss the ones that are really good at controlling you. They always miss the ones that are really good at controlling your viewpoint. They've tricked you enough to believe that they're offering you a lot more than they are, like I said. I don't know why. This is going to be completely out of random, but there was this Rick and Morty episode. Feel free to skip this part, but there's this Rick and Morty episode I saw where there's these aliens that infested a household, and they infest the household by creating false memories. And the way that they got rid of the aliens was by saying, all right, well, who here have you only had positive memories with? And that's the alien. So I feel like that was a really oversimplification of that episode. But if you've seen it, then hopefully you get what I'm trying to say. Look at the memories you have with this Emperor, with this King of Pentacles. If it's too good to be true, it probably was. There's probably some type of dishonesty lurking in the background. Because you have the 7 of Swords and the Moon card in the same spread. So that is lies on top of lies. But the Moon card is psychic manipulation. So the only way to get rid of it is by, using your own psychic abilities that I genuinely believe we all have. At the end of the month, though, is just you shutting off toward everything. And I don't want to see that for you. I was so disappointed with these 2 cards ending the spread. Because it's, what your problems are, what your obstacles are. You just don't want to actually see them. You don't want to face them. And it's not cowardice. It's Jupiter with that optimism and thinking if you just positive your way through life, then things are going to happen for you. And to a degree, yeah, it works, but there's practicality that you need as well. That's why you have so much earth and air energy in this chart, because you need to just be logical. You need to be slightly colder. You also need to be more practical. The Moon card reminds me of that saying, believe nothing you hear and only half of what you see, or something like that. I hope I got that right. But either way, that's what you need to do. Don't believe anything you hear from certain people, of course. And only believe half of what you see, because you have on these rose-colored glasses, because you have this continuous glass half full type of sight. So you only really need to look at that in half measures. Like, not everything is perfect all the time, or not everything can be perfect all the time, no matter how hard you push for it. So yeah, something like that, basically. But the world is a lot bigger than what is physically presented to us all. And I think that knowledge scares you. And I think you're only going to be pushed further if you keep ignoring it. So that's your reading. It was a lot. We're at 47 minutes. I will pull an oracle card, but I don't think that everyone is going to watch the whole thing. But you had a lot of information. I hope I helped. This eclipse, it had an effect on you. So I'm not surprised that this reading was so long. You got retreat. And I think you really do need to. This 4 of Cups, to me, off top, means you need to meditate. You need to get in touch with yourself. And it's not going to be easy, because you've got a lot of people that want to be around you. And I feel like you're always that person that probably has a big friend group, because you're really easy to be around. You probably attract a lot of interested people because you're just so positive. But be wary of the people that just want to take from you, basically. Let's pull one more card, making it even 50 minutes, or close to it. I don't even know if I should film an extended for you, because this is already so long. I also don't know what I'm going to title your video as. Alright, that wanted to come out. New moon began, and don't we have a new moon coming up again? I want to say it's the 14th. or it might be another full moon, because we have a solar eclipse on the 30th, and we have or I think it's in Cancer, so we might have a new moon on the 14th. I have to look at it because it's just so much this year. I can't keep track. Normally I'm good about that. But you're going to have a new beginning regardless. And I just want to say, I think that's going to be the title of your video, that you don't need to have any new beginnings with old people. You need to clear out old energy, and you really need to just push forward. You're not someone that's scared to be alone. I feel like almost you enjoy your own company because you're just this light. I think that's a theme too because of the sun card. You're a light in a way that's different than the fire sign. Well, yeah, you are a fire sign. You're a light that's different in a way that Leo would be with the sun card. You're a light that just, it's infectious. I think where Leo, that really shines on them, not intentionally, they just naturally are like that. I think with you, you know how to make everyone else feel like there's a light shining on them too, which is a little cheesy, but I think that's a really good quality to have. So we'll just end that there. I'm going to film your extended. If you want to follow my Patreon, the link is in my not my bio, God. It's in the description box. You can also follow all my other social accounts. I do free readings on there too. And until then, I'll probably make another video for you at the end of this month. Just a little end of the month check-in going into 2021, and God help us. Until then, stay happy, stay safe. Bye.